morning, good evening, good afternoon. It's been a while. How are we all doing? We're back for another episode. As always, I'm joined by Mr. Frost. Tell the people how you doing, man.
Yeah, good, mate. It's absolutely amazing to be back, man. It really is, I feel like it's a different vibe this time because obviously, everyone's able to play basketball again, and there's all sorts of, cool things going on, and it's really a positive time for basketball. So yeah, what better time than now to come back?
Exactly, man. Like, obviously, we've seen, if you follow anything on Instagram to do with basketball, we've seen people being able to go back out, kids, younger generation being able to train again. Obviously, we with yourself included in that, and we're getting for the Commonwealth, or is it the Olympics, with the 3-on-3 tournament. We've seen all them training at Bellevue, so it's good to see that we're allowed to get back together, have a few run-ins and that. I'm still yet to pick up a ball, but hopefully we'll get there eventually enough.
And I've just realised, remember when we watched that last Giants game, I've still got your broken shoes downstairs. I've not moved
my God,
them.
yeah, shit.
I've still got them broken shoes, man.
that was after a little run around before I came to yours. Really old and one from like Sports Direct for about 13 years ago. Somehow still fit me, and the glue just finally give up on me. Which means I've got no excuse. I've got to get a new pair now, so that's good. And let's go from the BBL talk for the first of all. League winners, cup winners, Newcastle and obviously Leicester respectively. What are your thoughts? Did you watch any of it?
Yeah, I mean, I watched it all, and big shout out by the way to our boy Ginge. He did a great job on commentary, and has done throughout the season. So big shout out to my guy. But yeah, well, firstly, I think it's one of them where everyone was kind of cheering against London, and sometimes I don't know what it was. I had a little soft spot for them. I've sometimes said to you, Anna, I wouldn't mind, London winning this and stuff. But I think when you look at their team, like that, no one should really, as we've got some good teams in this league, but no one should come close to that. No. Like that should have been high, dry, and gone. They won a cup, which is good. But I don't think anyone, especially at the start of the season, saw past London just winning the league by 15 points, 20 points. So that's that there. When you look at our season, I wouldn't necessarily say, we're necessarily a back to the drawing board job. I think London's more of a back to the drawing board job than we are, because the money that they must have spent, mate, because DeAndre Liggins isn't coming to this league getting paid less than, thousands a month, and things like that, So, they've, you could say they've not necessarily earned the money, but, I mean, but on the other hand, fair play to the teams that beat them. I mean, we should have been one of them teams this season.
Absolutely.
It's been an absolute roller coaster season, and I look back and it fills me with quite a bit of joy to know that the Friday and Sundays and the odd game on a Saturday was what made me look forward during lockdown and things like that, because as much as we went on this like ridiculous losing streak, I still tipped up with my wings and just chilling and talking and
16 cans of Guinness.
So but no, it's just been an absolute roller coaster. I'm gutted that the Giants fans couldn't get in there, But yeah, we just got to look ahead to next season. I don't know what your thoughts are, mate.
I mean, look at the final. Obviously, Newcastle came through. That was a fantastic game to watch. Obviously, Leicester winning the league. I think with about 4 games to go, a lot of people just went, excuse me. I think with 4 games to go, I think a lot of people just went, this is still London's. There's only 2 points in it. But when you've got the diversity that Leicester have got, and when you talk about the depth of a team in London, it was always going to be a 2-horse race for me personally, anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, we've seen.
Sorry, just to interrupt. Sorry, but I haven't got any gripe with Leicester's like Leicester's depth, because Leicester's probably got one of the best, if not the best, academy in the country.
Yeah.
So I haven't got any gripe with that. Sorry, mate. Carry on.
Yeah, like I know. Obviously, we've seen, which I didn't think. Well, a lot of people expected. Gino Crandall's already been announced as a re-signing before, like the end of the season. Like straight away, boom. Obviously, Coach Paternostro staying, Crandall staying. Like honestly, that was a bit of a shock to me. I didn't expect him to be here next season, but
he could do it across Europe.
Exactly.
Yeah. He could do it across
Europe. I think from a casual basketball fan perspective, it's fantastic news.
Yeah. I mean, you look as well. Cheshire making some big signings. Some big signing. There's a few statements out there. I mean, Cheshire must have some good backers, man, and it's a well thought out club, because they're signing some good players, mate.
How many ex-Giant players do you think they're going to get this season? Quick dig.
Well, yeah. But it's crazy, man. But I just think, like, I know, like, speaking to a few of my friends who managed to get to like the last football games and stuff like that, they said it was different atmosphere, but it felt louder, because they've been waiting for that long, and we live in hope that by September we won't be in any form of restrictions, so we'll be able to have a full packed out house, and I couldn't care less if we all had to wear a mask or whatever, just to see everyone, go in there. It'd be amazing. But I mean.
And just trust me from experience, you still can hear people shouting through a mask. Trust me on that. But yeah, man, I think it's going to be obviously something to look forward to. We've got the summer. We've got everyone meeting up outside for this summer to get outside, get some runs in. I'm hoping to get out at some point next month. I've got a couple of weeks off where I'm basically just going to have 2 or 3 days just down to the local park. Good old see who's there, scout out a competition, jump on in when it's nice and easy, It's like, all right, okay, I can take that guy, let's go. But we move. Let's go into our little titled All Things Giant awards. Now, I know some of these we don't have as an award in the BBL, obviously based on NBA awards, but let's start off with Defensive Player of the Year. Who have you got, man? I think it's going to be the same as me, but...
What, as in Giants only?
Giants only,
yeah. Oh, mate, all day long, DJ. Like, you can't look past it. I mean, do you know what? I was actually doing a bit of... Cause I've been talking to David Ulf quite a bit recently, digging into his numbers, and that's for absolutely no reason, even though we have got a little run sorted out soon. I'm not digging his numbers out or anything. But he's a really good defensive player, David Ulf, especially being undersized. And there was a couple of players I think, really did go under the radar, I think, defensively, but I just can't see anything past consistency-wise. DJ, personally, and I know you agree. You can't see past the guy. He brought exactly what we wanted to this team and more. I
think you're totally right, mate. I think obviously the award for me goes to DJ, but when you talk about going under the radar, for that tenacity and getting under a player's shirt, you've got to bring up Hudson, you've got to bring up Powell for those minutes he was on, just being that threat of going, okay, pressure the ball, do not let them run their plays, get inside of them. That's just an honorable mention towards them boys, they have that tenacity to do that.
I mean, when you mentioned Zach Powell, how many times this season did we sit there screaming at the TV when, for example, Crandall was running right against us or something like that? You say, get Zach Powell on him.
Yeah.
And that is an absolute credit to the young guy. Yep. To be able to be relied by fans, people who supported him like us since, the Reeb start and before, for us to turn around and say, get Zach on, the best player, is crazy, man, and he should take a lot of credit from that. But absolutely, definitely, DJ, definitely for me.
We move on. Now, this is a bit of an iffy one for me. I've wrote one name down, but most improved player. Now, this isn't necessarily from last season to this season, just as a whole as well.
I'm going to give this, and I'm thinking you might potentially be the same, but I don't know whether I'm just thinking outside the box here. I'm going off the last sort of 8 games or so. Jack Hudson.
Okay.
As
soon as you said last 8 games, I knew it was going to be Jack Hudson from you.
Yeah. And the reason why I said that, because I know it's a season-long award, but the reason why I'm giving it to Jack. Now, you could say, how much has David Ulf improved since last season? But like I said, it's this season award. David Ulf's been, as you can see, he's won 2 awards this season. You know, he's been brilliant. So the reason why I gave it to Jack is because he had such a tough time, and people, you know, in the fan forums and things like that suggesting, is he a BBL player? What you got to think is the guy's still young. The guy's captain of this team where there was a massive investment on Americans coming in this season. The biggest we've seen, you know, the biggest we've seen, hopefully not the last time we see it, but, you know, there was a huge investment. And Jack then instantly as captain has got to then, even though he doesn't have to, he'll feel like he has to prove himself to all these guys. You know, why am I captain? You know, all this. When really, you know, he went through a really tough time at the start of the season. I think there was times where, I'm quite a positive guy, you know, doubted, you know, the way he was setting up. He wasn't giving a lot offensively. His defense lacked sometimes. But then I want to say it was when Lloyd Gardner came in, but I don't think it was. I think it was still there. He never gave up the fight. And to bounce back like he did, to then be probably Lloyd Gardner's go-to defender, and like, you know, because he guarded some tough guys. I remember that game against Glasgow where we won away for the first time in God knows how long.
Yeah.
And he just took Bunyan, who's probably one of their, if not their best scorer this season. We know they had a tough season, but he took him completely out of the game.
Yep.
Like you know, and there was times where Jack was like, it was like he was marking a D3 player. You know, you know, it was. And for me, it was consistent. His scoring improved. How many times did we write a message to each other saying, "And one Jack Hudson," what, you know, kind of thing?
Yeah.
You know, he had no right to do that. And, you know, even now, you know, again, you know, we still both of us, you know, talk to the players and stuff like that. And, you know, you see him on Instagram and he's working out again. You know, he's back at it. You know, he's committed. You know, he knows that, you know, like we always say, work on the fundamentals and the rest of the game will come with it. Do you know what I mean? And that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
You know, he's in the gym. You know, he's actually doing weights in the gym and, you know, shooting and stuff. So it's credit to himself. And that's why I think, you know, in my eyes, most improved goal for my award goes to Jack.
I think you're totally right, mate. Just going off the back of that, you know, he came in, he was announced as captain. And first of all, I think that's a lot of mental weight on your shoulders to be like, oh, like, I've got to lead this team. I've got to be the leader on the floor, off the floor. Whether you're training, whether you're not training, whether you're just having a chat with each other, you're still the captain. And I think it might have been a bit of a burden at the start of the season. And I'm going to be the first to admit, I have said in the past, like, he's turned over the ball again. Like, he's having more turnovers than assists and blah, blah, blah. But exactly like you said, something happened where he was like, nah, I'm not letting people step off me on the 3-point line. Nah, I'm not letting people talk about me like that. And he just came out and just slowly, and then I think exactly like you said, it was a Glasgow game. He just went, there we go, how's that? And he came away with like, I think it was 12 points, 8 assists. And I remember texting you going, he should have that every game. And I'm so happy for him. And from there, what did he do? 8 points, 10 assists.
Same again.
7 points, 12 assists. And then that continuity was perfect. And it was like, I don't care if it was late in the season. Like, I'm not saying that's a game changer for us in the season, but it was just amazing to see him go from where he was to how we saw him end the season. And I totally agree with that, man.
I mean, on that, I think the pressure. I mean, I'm a bit old school. I think point guard should be passed first. Still to this day, I do personally. But that's just the sort of old school in me. I personally believe that as long as a point guard's doing good passes, getting plenty of assists, and playing good defense. That's all he needs to do.
Yeah.
And that's what Jack started doing. And he added the points. It's like you said, for me personally, there's nothing more embarrassing than being stood on the 3-point line and the guy who's guarding you stepping off you, sagging off you, because he's more worried about you, who you're going to pass the ball to, not you. But yeah, sorry, go on. I'll let you give your award out, mate.
So for me, it's Whelan, Jordan Whelan.
Oh, okay.
Now, I think at the start of the season, when he was coming off the bench, and within 6-7 games, he was coming off the bench and giving us like 15, 20 points a game. And people in the fans forum, between us, other fans I've spoke to, were like, oh, 6-1 of the year, 6-1 of the year, 6-1 of the year.
Yeah.
He clearly went, I ain't no 6-man, I'm a starting 5.
We said it as well, didn't we? Yeah.
And that mentality for me of coming off the bench, being 6-7 from the bench, but still coming out and going, right, I don't deserve to be on this bench. I'm not saying that he thought in his own head that he deserved to be above anyone else.
Yeah.
But hit from him as a player, he was like, I'm coach, I'm not a 6-man. I'm this starting 5. And then for the rest of the season, barring the injury, of course, starting 5, 18 points, 15 points, 20 points.
Yeah.
There were some games, I remember there's some games where he was like 3 quarters with 4 points. And I'm going, where's Jordan? Oh, here's the 4th quarter. Here's 15 points, guys. Like, it was just from the start of the season to how we ended the season. That's how I've decided that, because he just came out and just went, you know what? Nah, this is who I am.
Yeah. Another guy who works tremendous in the gym.
Yeah.
You know, another guy who's doing that. You know, he's doing the 3-on-3 England camps. You know, you're not. You know, you got to be still some kind of decent player to get invited to them. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. So fair play to the lad. Absolute fair play.
And of course, the penultimate award, MVP.
I mean, I can't look anywhere else than David Ulf, personally, in my eyes.
Same, mate.
Yeah, you know, I know players had amazing games, you know, consistency, you know, Sam Cassell had, you know, a very consistent season.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, I mean, if Justin would have carried on these numbers, then, you know, he'd have been right out there. But for me, I can't see past a guy who's had to mark some of the biggest big guys, you know, he's ever going to have to mark.
Yeah.
I mean, what's scary for me is, for me personally, I don't think the BBL is going to have the same talent next season.
Mm-hmm.
What's scary for me is this is David Ulf's breakout season in that kind of BBL. That's sort of scary, you know.
Yeah.
It saddens me to say it, mate, but I can see other clubs coming in for him.
So,
I mean, the difference.
Same, obviously, because you know it's going to be tough for a club not to see, whether it's in the BBL or not in the BBL. It's going to be tough for a club not to see his numbers, watch his game footage, look at it all, and go, "Why is he not playing for my team?"
Yep. And you know, I think the club. I mean, I'd hate him to go Cheshire. I don't think he will go Cheshire. No. But you know, clubs I can see coming in.
He better not.
Yeah. I mean, the clubs I can see coming in for him, Newcastle.
Yep.
You know.
I mean, surely, and obviously, I want to see him play forever. But surely, it's very close to Defoe's last season.
Yeah, and not only that, you know. He in that 4th quarter when we came back, I mean, all game he was consistent against Newcastle, but in that 4th quarter, he absolutely handed Evan Maxwell his ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He absolutely handed it, you know, and he's scoring free throws. You know, he's finally scoring free throws. You know, he's going to the free throw line where I think, oh, I'll make one of these. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, for me, it really saddens me to say it. And I mean, the beauty about basketball is ultimately, and this is obviously not me putting pressure on any players at all, but it's always 1-season contracts.
Yeah.
You know, it always is. You know, you see Gino's been with Leicester for a while. He still signs every year. Do you know what I mean? For me personally, it's down to the player. He's going to want to see an improvement on the Giants team. I think rightfully so.
Yeah.
You know, us fans, we want to see an improvement. You know, I mean, there's always improvement. Do you know what I mean? You got, you know, it's like I say, you can look at London's team and think, bloody hell, they should have won everything, but they didn't. You know, so
yeah.
But yeah, ultimately, and he's a great guy, David Ulf. He's not an idiot. He's, you know, but at the end of the day, he can make a living out of basketball. You know, he could make a living out of basketball, you know, and
Absolutely.
And he should do, you know. You know, because you know, we know he works another job, you know, so you know, it's like, well, hang on, I've won 2 awards this season, you know, best points average and highest rebound average, was it?
Yep.
You know, and you got, how many 7-footers are in the league? You know, how many 7-footers in the league? And we're talking a league that included Breon Brady for a long time, you know, on our team, you know, that kind of thing, you know. So for me personally, you know, we've got to up our game to keep older David Ulf.
Yeah.
You know, we really have. We've got to up our game. But for me, the award is absolutely fully deserved. Like, for him to go, it was fearless. He was playing like he had absolutely nothing to fear in each game.
Yeah.
Like, how many times, you know, I don't know how many times I've turned up at a National League game or, you know, a Mabel game or something, and I thought, Jesus, they're big lads, you know what I mean? Like, and instantly it's already in there, you know. I'm thinking, God, because obviously usually I play 3, but say on that night I'm playing 4, I'm like, oh no, I'm only 6'4", I don't fancy him, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So and he just goes into the game with no fear. And you know, in the league, you know, we've got Jimbo Lull, you know, we've got obviously NBA was, you know, we had to mark NBA for games, you know, there's you know, other team, you know, Evan Maxwell, you know, 7 foot, you know, Nelson Henry at Leicester, 7 foot, you know, all big, you know, Ryan Richards, 7 foot, you know, he's had to guard all these guys and done an absolutely stellar job against them, you know, and he's credit to himself. I personally hope, you know, that we keep hold of him.
Yeah.
And if the Giant staff are listening, do everything you can, guys. You know what I mean? Do everything you can. But yeah,
Absolutely.
sorry, go on, mate. I'll let you.
No, I think you've pretty much said it all, man. You know, he's been outstanding all season. No matter what's been in front of him, brick wall after brick wall, he's just like, okay, let's go. Like, not a problem. He always.
That's perfect way to describe it. Every game was a brick wall for him. That's the perfect way to describe it. He has to knock it down.
Regardless, he always came off with a smile on his face.
Exactly.
He came off. He was just like, okay, we lost.
His intensity is brilliant. His intensity is brilliant on the court. You know, we saw, what was that game where he had that? Oh, it was Alex Owandy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Him and Alex had a bit of a to do, and I thought to myself, do you know what? Like, you know, fair play to David Ulf, you know, because Alex is one of the overseas pros, you know, and Dave was obviously giving him grief about something, you know, in his eyes justified, you know. Fair play, stand your ground, mate. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. I mean, I think he's just. I think overcome's a bit of a strong word, but like he's just come out, set out to do. Here's your game plan, Ulf. Bang, bang, bang. Don't let him have the ball. Get your rebounds. Like we said before, he's getting rebounds over the guys just mentioned that are all 7 foot. He's offensive rebounding. I've never seen anyone like it. I've never seen anyone offensively rebound like that guy.
I didn't think we'd see anyone better than Willie Clayton at rebounding, and I think David Hull's better than Willie Clayton at rebounding, even though he didn't necessarily get the numbers Willie Clayton got. But you know, he's slightly smaller than Willie Clayton, and it's his first professional season.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, we're talking about a guy that didn't even play in D1, did he? You know, I think he was just D2 at Liverpool. Like, obviously, correct me if I'm wrong, but even so, he's made a huge jump, and you know, he's straight in there. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy to think about, and he's so humble as a guy. I was speaking to him.
Oh yeah.
And I think, what was it, about a week and a half ago? I spoke to him, and I just said to him, "Listen, you know, you deserve every plaudit you got this season. You deserved all the awards." And he was just like, "Mate, it means so much to come from you, and you know, just as a fan, kind of thing." And I just think, you know, fair play to the lad, you know, and if something, you know, I'd be disappointed we couldn't get any deal over the line for him. But if he wants to go better his career, you know, I can see David Huff playing abroad.
Yeah,
I can see it. There's no reason why he can't play abroad. You know, I mean, the only thing that I draw him back, which is important to some abroad teams, is height.
Yeah,
you know, but he shows it doesn't matter. You know,
clearly,
so,
exactly.
You know, I think that kind of brings us around nicely to say who we'd like to see stay. And who we realistically think could stay, and
you read my mind, mate. You read my mind.
I mean, I'll let you kick it off, mate.
Now, I want to put a disclaimer out. This is no disrespect to any players that if I don't mention them.
Shitbag.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking, man. I'm joking.
Right. Should we play it to a point of let's pick 5? Let's pick 5 players.
Yeah, 5's a good number, yeah.
Okay.
Realistically as well.
Realistically and that I want. So both.
Yeah.
Or okay.
Yeah.
Realistically and that I'd like, I'm gonna go with Whelan.
Yeah.
Donny. Ulf.
Yeah.
Start to slow down now. Hang on.
I've got the same 3, and I can name you 2 more.
See, I don't know how realistic it is, but I'd like Cassell to stay.
Yeah.
Now we'll go into ifs and buts and whys after this, but 5.
I think we can extend this to 6. And you know why I say this? I'd absolutely love to keep Jack and Zach.
I was going to say Jack, and if you're going to extend it to 6, I'd say Joe Hayes.
See, I think Joe Hayes...
Only from a youth perspective
and
his drive.
So it's something we said last season, Joe, and we know for a fact, Joe Hayes is a great trainer.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying by any stretch that Joe Hayes is a training player, but when you have a training player, you need them to have intensity. You need to have these guys to have the team's ethos within them, but they're not necessarily playing for the team.
Yeah.
And that's what Joe Hayes did last season. Now, I totally agree. The one thing we said all last season, this season, we 150% need at least 10 BBL players.
Yes.
At least 10 BBL players. Now, we've seen the size of the benches, okay? We know you can have 12, 14, maybe even excess of 12 players. We know that. So for me, to bring through 4 kids and have them on the bench again would be absolutely ideal, or at least 2.
Yeah.
At least 2. Now, Zach Powell, for me, is not by any stretch a kid anymore.
No.
He can compete. He can compete in the league, and the reason why I say that, and I know his numbers aren't amazing and all this lot, but the reason why I say that is because, like I said before, he affected every game he was in, every single game he was in. He affected it in some way. We know he can jump. We know he's an athlete, and the way I measure it, if you put Zach Powell in D1, would he kill it? Yes, he would.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that for me, and that's why we've gone into the debate before about the teams, Solent Kestrels, etc., who murder that league every year, and why are the players not stepping up? This is for me now is the reason why Zach shouldn't go. I mean, unless he gets another contract in the BBL, which is fair enough. Zach is a BBL player. There's no 2 ways about it. We need to pull out all the stops to keep them players, in my eyes, 100%. Whelan, just the fact, homegrown talent.
Yep.
He's been in and around Manchester basketball all his life. I wouldn't mind his brother coming playing for us, But...
Oh, yeah. Imagine Jordan and Patrick on the court together.
And they look a lot more alike than I thought they did as well, It's crazy. I actually saw a funny Jordan put out a funny Instagram of Pat working out in the back garden. He's like, "Look at this guy working out," and I was just laughing, man. It was well funny. But yeah, I think Jordan, just obviously delving into ifs, whys, and buts and stuff. Jordan's a huge one for me. I think he's a leader. Personally, I think, and I know for a fact he is not scared of telling them Americans what to do.
Oh God, no, not at all.
He's not scared of that. Where some people might be slightly intimidated. For me personally, a lot of the time, unfortunately, Americans, and I think we was quite blessed this year that a few of the Americans thought they was better. Lyle Hexon, Brian Brady, for me personally, didn't have amazing attitudes. but decent guys off the court. It was just on the court. I think it's very, very likewise to how an English football player would be going over there. If you're decent at football over here, you think you're going to be like Ronaldo over there. And that wasn't the case for a lot of Americans. And I think a lot of Americans, especially people like DJ, after speaking to them, were very humbled by their experience over here. So yeah, my reasoning, Jordan Whelan, I think, is an absolute must to stay. It was a marquee signing last year, rightfully so. He proved it. Constantly led the scoring all season. Very, very rarely had a quiet game. Very rarely had a quiet game. He affected the game in some way. And how many times did he, score a few free throws to win the game for us, or things like that? So, I mean, was it not that London game, Leicester game away that pushed it to overtime? And I think Jordan Whelan had a load of free throws or something. He kept getting fouled, To score them free throws is crazy, man. I think I totally agree on DJ staying. I think he posted a lot on Instagram and stuff about Manchester. He quite enjoyed it, even though they didn't have an amazing experience over here. He said he had a favourite burger place to go to, and things like that. And we love that. And I think if the numbers are right again, I think if the numbers are right again, I think he'd come over. Sam Cassell, a little bit more of a tricky one. He was in my 5. I think it sounds like we're being a bit far-fetched when we say realistically, who would you have? But I don't think it's unrealistic. I think
it's not.
I think you looked at Lal Hexam left, Breon Brady left for whatever reason. Me and you predicted a collapse in the Americans. We thought, are we just going to lose all the Americans now? But they didn't. They stuck about him and DJ, and through tough times. You look at players. I'd love to keep Justin Satchel, but he's not. He's going to go and mega bucks somewhere else probably. He's an amazing player. But yeah,
I think just touched on the. Sorry, but just touched on that on the Cassell bit.
I think Sam's not. I'd also like to see Jack stay and Ulfie. So I totally agree with all yours. I completely and utterly agree with all yours.
I think that's also a testament to this season and the players, regardless of our connection with them, like talking to them off the court. I think that's a tribute to those players as well, because the fact that 2 fans, and I guarantee hundreds of Giants fans would also agree with that as well. It shows the actual, it shows that they're an actual team. They're not just 6 players that are really good.
Yeah, and the way I see it as well is that, do you remember when obviously we didn't have the license to sign Americans and we had Ben Eves, Mike Bernard, that was a constant core of players. And we didn't finish amazingly, but one of the seasons we got in the playoffs, and that was and that for me, you need that sort of guarantee. If we got Sam and DJ back and Ulfie and Jack and Whelan stayed, there's a great core to come back to. Whereas if again everyone's brand new again, it's going to encounter problems. I think a big one for me, recruitment wise, is the fact it's a different coach now. If obviously Lloyd Gardner stays, he's going to want a Lloyd Gardner team. So that'll probably consist of quite a few well-known English players in my eyes. I think I think Lloyd will push for 12 BBL players personally.
Absolutely.
I think he'll push for that, because that's what let us down when injuries crept in and stuff. It was the fact that we didn't have a full BBL squad. That's what let us down. Otherwise, we'd have cruised into the playoffs. Absolutely cruised into them.
I think also going into next season, obviously, I know the back of house stuff can be tricky sometimes, but I think the biggest comparison with being prepared for next season was listening to the BBL show, and Drew Lasker was like 6 weeks before the season started. We had 6 weeks of training together.
Exactly.
And obviously, I've never run a club. But that for me going into next season is the most important thing for us. We can worm all the problems out before the season starts. Get that core team together. 6 weeks. Know your role. We're doing this as a team. We're not doing this as individuals. We're doing this for us, for the fans, for everything. And I think that's got to be the key to our next season, regardless of teams, regardless of players. That needs to be our most important thing.
Yeah, totally agree, mate. It needs to be solid from the start. We need to know, even just the fans need to know where they stand. And Giants recruitment is usually quite good. We usually secure quite a lot of signings early.
Yeah.
The biggest one for me, securing the coach again. I think his basketball was brilliant. I think his basketball was absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think him and Pluto can build a real good partnership between them. So yeah, hopefully that continues. But yeah, the first big one is the coach. Yeah. I think Giants are doing pretty well to get a few signings announced soon, if I'm honest with you. You look at what is it? Cheshire signed Dangakodo.
Mm-hmm.
Big signings. Yeah. Was it Okafor signed for them? They're big moves, mate.
Did not see that coming. Just touch on that.
I didn't. And that whiffs to me, without pointing any fingers, that whiffs to me that something was already done towards the end of last season.
Oh, yeah.
Dangakodo wasn't getting the minutes he probably deserves, so totally get why he's leaving. And Okafor, he wants to push for championship basketball, so Cheshire probably, as they always can do, they'll promise them playoffs and potentially more.
Yep.
So if these guys are there, English signings, that it's scary to think what the American signings are going to be.
Yeah.
We're really genuinely, as a fan, this is a shout to the management. We really need to push for everything this season. The fans deserve it.
Yeah.
And this isn't me having a moan, and I know you think the exact same and echo this, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
We want a solid team, and I know things can't be helped during the season. We're not mad about that, but we just want a solid team where we're not, before the game, we're not saying, we're going to have to start, 2 of the kids or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be that, because, if a player was... I mean, how many times did we say, we're playing these, so-and-so's missing, nice one. Then just bring them back, missing, nice one. Then just bring them back, bring another player in or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's annoying for me, how, we need to just get a solid BBL team, and I think, like I said, Lloyd Gardner's, with him, his background on coaching, the academies and stuff, he's going to want organisation. If he's coming back in, he's going to want organisation. He's not going to, for me personally, I think it will be him. And the reason why I say that is because I don't think he'd have took the job on a short-term basis if he didn't plan on coming back next season.
Yeah.
Personally, that's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But for me as fans, I think we do well to either announce a few signings soon or just announce the coach and just an update, see how things are going, kind of thing. I know obviously we've been quiet. I think we're doing this podcast, the sort of review podcast at the perfect time, really. I think, we've timed this perfectly. We're having to wait to see who's signing what, and we saw this as the perfect time for us to bring the podcast back. They're obviously not going to be as frequent because there's no basketball, every few weeks maybe. But, I think it's the right time as well for the club to give us an update, see how we're doing, see what's going on, maybe potentially say that, we've signed, because it's not long till September, when the season starts again. And I think it's not the start of September as well, I think. I can't remember.
I think it's middle, like 18th, something like that.
Okay, yeah. So it's not that long till then. So, let's just hope they've got things. I mean, I know they will have things in place. Let's just hope they have and see how we go from there, man.
Yeah, man. I think that brings us nicely wrapping down towards the end of the show. quick shout out here to Astra Signs. We have had the sign delivered.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, man. I've not had a chance to get it out yet. I will post it on social media either today or tomorrow. The box looks pretty big, so I'm quite excited to get that out and show you how big it is. That sounded weird. Disclaimer, family show, can't be saying that. Yeah, I'm going to unwrap the sign and get it out and show everyone on social media. So shout out, thank you so much to Astra Signs for sorting us out with that. Quick self-promo. If you've not seen the hoodie yet, this is new Bunny Jackson's merch. Come down to Junior Jackson's, 5 p.m. till 3 a.m., 7 days a week. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, I've just got one on that as well, and it can be a little personal one, but it's also, you know, thinking. Big, massive shout out to my club, Tameside Vikings. You know, I've never ever lost a love for basketball as much as I did last season, and it's just renewed it. You know, we've got 60 kids on a Wednesday. Wow. I'm coaching, and when I say this now, Jake, I mean it. There's another probably 100 messages I've had to turn people down.
Wow,
guys, if you're listening to this, give us a like. But when I say this, please, if you just sat there thinking, I won't mind starting basketball again, I won't mind doing this again, you know, a massive, I mean, again, I'll name a name, massive shout out to James Renfrew, got in touch, he's coming down, coaching, a massive Giants fan.
Yeah, man, that's meant.
You know, he's coming down, it's one of their messages, not played for a bit, but I want to get back into it. Now, James Renfrew, if you know, is a gun from free. He can play, you know. Yeah. So when I say this, I mean this, guys. Get out and play and do, you know, do it. You know, it's been like a year and a half, is it, since we've been out of play?
Yeah.
Is it? It might be longer. I don't know. You know what I mean? But like, you know, a year and a half we've not been able to play for. We're not been able to rent courts or anything. And when I got on the court and like we're all at training and you know, we've got our Mabel teams. We're just putting a second Mabel team, and you know, I mean, we've got our first team, men's team, who I play for. It's a National League standard team, you know, yeah. And it just, if you sat there thinking I want to get back into it, give us a message, you know, or just get out and go play for a club. Because honestly, what that's done to me personally in my head is fantastic.
Yeah, man.
You know, and I love the messages, and it's not a self promo for my club. It's just saying how much it's done for my mental well-being to get back into playing and going down there. And we've got training tonight. I'm buzzing for it, you know, and apparently we've got a bit of a beast in. I hope not, but being one of the coaches, I can feign an injury maybe. I don't know.
My ankle. So please.
So yeah, but yeah, guys, just get out and another one. Just thank you so much for supporting. Again, I noticed that our followers have gone up since we've not been podcasting. Don't know what people are saying, but you know.
I think we need to just stop podcasting, mate, and just hope that it grows and just release one a year or something.
No, we're back, and we've got our own plan for next season, and it's going to be bigger and better than ever. And yeah, that's a promise, man.
Thank you very much, as always, for listening, watching, wherever you are. We've got, like I said, I think we say it every time because we have got a lot of good news coming our way. Thank you very much for listening. Take it easy. Have a lovely week.